Okay. Well, I hope everyone had a good break, and I want to thank Senators Murray, Klobuchar, and Schatz for joining me. Well, today we learned that Republicans are trying to rebrand their big ugly bill. This bill is so wildly unpopular because it's at its very core, it's devastating to American communities, and Americans are already feeling it. So they're running away from it. So instead of trying to actually address what's hurting families, what do they want to do? Change the name. Hello? Changing the name isn't going to restore somebody's Medicaid. Changing the name isn't going to have those premiums not go up. Changing the name is not going to open the rural hospitals who are closing and laying off people. So it shows what a bubble they're in. And you know, the fact that Donald Trump says a big, beautiful bill is cutting Medicaid is showing the American people just what his values are. And they're not the American people's values. So Americans know damn well that these cuts to Medicaid and to ACA, they are big, but they certainly ain't beautiful. The fact that Republicans think that Medicaid cuts are beautiful, as I said, reveals who they are to the American people. And about the average American, Donald Trump doesn't give a damn. He's in his own little bubble. He talks to his billionaire friends. They make him happy when they say, "Thanks, Donald, you're doing a great job. You're giving me a tax break." So he's the only one who would really label such a horrible bill as beautiful. Let's be clear. This isn't a branding problem. Okay? We each spent a month at home. I did close to 20 meetings on health care, mainly in upstate Republican districts and areas. And you heard how bad it was. I went to the State Fair, which is a pretty Republican operation. I had a great time. I saw the butter sculpture. I got to drink chocolate milk, which is the one time a year my wife will let me drink it. But at the State Fair, it was clear. So let me show you this chart. There's a different chart. Where's the chart on the polling? You don't have that? Okay, well, this chart is the trade war. The price of goods is up 40% for leather products, 7% for fresh produce, 12% for cars, 18% for consumers and electronics. Can we get the polling chart? Okay, thank you. So here are the polling data, which we'll show on a chart. Pew Research, 46% disapprove of this big, beautiful bill, 32% approve. Navigator, 52% unfavorable, 33% favorable. CNN, 61% oppose, 39% approve of the big, beautiful bill. And it's interesting, almost all Democrats oppose it, but depending on the poll, 2/3 to 3/4 of independents oppose it, and a good chunk of Republicans oppose it, up to 40% in one poll, as I understand it. So on the shutdown, this month Republicans will face their greatest test under the Trump administration. Will they work in a common-sense, bipartisan way to keep the government open? The only way to avoid a shutdown is to work in a bipartisan way. You need Democrats and Republicans with a bill that gets both parties' support in the Senate. Senate Democrats, we've shown firsthand that we're willing to work with them in a bipartisan way to keep our government open by advancing the bipartisan appropriation bills, which Patty will talk about. However, as we near the funding deadline, Republicans are once again threatening to go at it alone, heading our country towards a shutdown and making the health care crisis even worse. With Trump's attempt of so-called pocket rescissions, Republicans are prioritizing chaos over governing, partisanship over partnership, and their own power over the American people. For weeks now, Leader Jeffries and I, and we're working on the same page, we talk all the time, just talked to him last night again, we've written to the Republican leaders asking them to meet us to start the negotiation process. We did that in early August. We didn't hear from them. Weeks later, we wrote a letter asking them to meet with us to start negotiating. Again, nothing again. Crickets. We heard nothing. Time is short. Republicans need to stop trying this go-at-it-alone approach. They did that with the big, beautiful bill. Look how that's working out for them. Look how that's working out for them. Chart's not here yet. Okay. We don't want to shut down. We want bipartisan negotiations and a bipartisan bill. If Republicans want to keep the government open, they got to work with us. We need some action from Republican leaders showing that they're serious, that they want to prevent the shutdown by working with us. We Democrats are ready to get to work.